All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stronger, Deeper Marriage Show, where we help married couples and those thinking about marriage build relationships filled with peace, purpose, and passion. I'm your host, Lucille Reddic, the harmony expert, and I've been married for 41 years. My heart is to help couples communicate better, align their vision, and grow stronger through every season. And I'm joined by my amazing co host and wellness coach,
Hi.
Pata Hall, who has been married for 38 years and brings a powerful insight on how emotional, physical, and spiritual health impact marriages. Together, our focus is simple helping couples build marriages that last. Pata, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm so excited about today's conversation because money stress doesn't just affect your wallet, it affects your body, your mood, and your relationship. Today, we are connecting finances, health, and partnership in a very, very, very powerful way.
Yes, we are. Let me introduce our guest. We're excited to welcome Michael Dillard, a global leadership strategist who has been married for 20 years to his incredible wife, Zambia. Am I saying it right?
Yes, she's from Zambia.
Zambia. Okay, from Zambia, who is also
hmm
a talent manager. Michael brings a powerful perspective on communication, cultural differences, and financial unity in marriage. He believes couples must communicate their goals clearly and agree together on what each spouse is willing to support. And today he's sharing how financial alignment strengthens your marriage foundation. Michael, welcome to the Stronger, Deeper Marriage Show.
Welcome.
Thanks
Woo!
for having me
Welcome,
on the
Michael.
show,
Welcome.
Mrs. Riddick, Miss Hall, talking about marriage and money. That's my passion right there.
All right. All right. Yes.
And I'm so excited too because you know what? I'm a certified financial coach too with Ramsey Solutions. And so
Oh, are you? Okay.
uh-huh. And we do stewardship training at my church and everything. And I get excited because I am the nerd in our marriage. I can geek out with all the spreadsheets and the writing money down and keeping the track of everything. And my husband, he don't care nothing about
Yes, yes, yes. I hear that a lot with couples. You always have the one person that
Yes.
loves the numbers and the other person who loves the fun.
that.
I
Yeah.
love the fun. I'm the fun one. I
Okay.
will admit it. Yes, I'm the fun one.
So let me jump into this first question I have for you. So,
All right.
after 20 years of marriage, what
Mm-hmm.
lessons stand out most about building unity with your wife?
The lessons that stand out is understanding the differences at first. Why your spouse does certain things. I tell you a story. My wife is from Zambia. I'm from
Mhm.
America. We have different cultural beliefs. And when I noticed that my wife would have certain mannerisms about herself, certain things that she believed in, which surprisingly, no debt, like no debt whatsoever. In America, we're used to financing things. You get married, you finance the wedding hall, you finance the dress, you finance the furniture, you finance the TV. It's just like, you just want to get the house all nice and pretty, make it look like you've been married for 20 years.
Get that 0% down. Yes.
Right. However, they pay cash in Zambia. They pay cash for everything. Like they take 5 years to save up to buy the plot of land where the house is going to be at. They take another couple years to buy the bricks and buy the roof, and that helped shape our marriage because I got a chance to understand her money beliefs, her family beliefs, where they believe that in certain boundaries of respect, certain roles, where, for example, I'm gonna tell her myself,
Mhm.
say I didn't take the trash out at first, she'd be like, she'll be mad if I don't take the trash out because in where she comes from, the man takes that trash out, right? The
Where I come
man
from
takes
too.
it out, right? So now I would forget, right? Sometimes I forget, but it's like it's more than that, if that makes sense. It has
Yes.
certain emotional triggers. Cleaning up, like who cleans up, who washes the dishes. At first, she would wash the dishes. I'm like, no, I can wash dishes. I was single before, so I know how to wash the dishes and fold the clothes. But it was like, no, no, no. This is how you fold the clothes. I'm like, no, no, no.
Hmm.
Mama taught me to fold the clothes like this. This is how you fold those clothes. Uh, this is how you take the toothpaste out the toothpaste bottle and all that type of stuff. And then
Mhm.
as you start to tell more stories, you start to relate and realize that we come from two different backgrounds. We have two different beliefs. So we need to talk those through and understand, okay, what is going to work for us in our marriage so that we can become one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So navigating those, you mentioned those cultural differences. Um, but I mean, it's a difference no matter what, because two people coming from two different perspectives. Um,
Right.
so it's a layered thing. But how did learning about each other's perspectives strengthen your relationship?
It made it easier to understand why people acted the way they did. It made it easier for my wife to understand why I acted a certain way. It made it easier for me to understand how and why my wife acted a certain way by having those discussions. For example, education, me going to school. I wanted to get my master's and keep going, where, and from her perspective, she just wanted to come and get her degree in nursing and continue to have the family. And for me, I was like, no, once I got my regular degree, I wanted my MBA. I just wanted to keep rising and rising and rising. But the point in making that point is that if you're married and young, who's taking care of the kids when they're a baby, 2 years old, 3 years old? So
Mhm.
we had to come together, agree that, okay, during the week, Monday through Thursday, I would be watching the child, but then on the weekend, she would watch the child so I can go back and get my master's in accounting, which is a sacrifice in money and a
Mhm.
sacrifice in time.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And my point is, we had to unite on goals.
Yes, that's so important. And having those conversations, because y'all could have easily just been mad about, oh,
Right.
he's, he want to keep going to school, and I
Right.
Mhm.
I want him to be here with me to
Help
help.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
But it
You know
sounds
that
like
old saying. Go
a
ahead.
key thing is your communication, and it seems like you guys were really able to communicate and express and understand each other very early on in your marriage.
Yes, and I'll tell you a story. It's right before I finished getting my master's in accounting. It was around 2008. Everybody was doing good. Everybody was buying houses. They was flipping houses. The interest rate was low. And as soon as I got my degree that I worked hard for, my wife would go and leave the house on the weekend so I can write my master's thesis, so I can do all that studying. As soon as I got my master's, I got laid off. And my
Mm.
wife was pregnant with our second child. Picture that.
Mm.
Mm.
I applied for job after job, no job. 6 months later, I finally got a chance to interview. My wife said, "Don't take that job." I said, "Why?" She said, "No, it's not for you. It's not for you, Michael." The job was to be an assistant store manager for a department store in the mall.
Well, that's
It
not
was
what
so
your
bad that
degree.
I know, Miss
But she's
Riddick,
like,
I
I need a
know.
job. I need a
I
job.
need a job, right? So I'll
No, we
come
didn't
back to
sacrifice for you to go be no manager. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
exactly. Yeah, huh. So she's in the mall walking around while I'm interviewing, belly hanging out and everything, praying I don't get that job. Hmm. Picture that. Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking about I had done all the right things, had the life insurance, had money put in our 401k, had cars paid off, but the money in the account was starting to go low. Think about it. Month one, month two, month three, the money is coming down like this, like rain coming down the hill. I'm seeing the money starting to run out. But she was like, it's not for you. So, but I had worked in corporate and I got good at interviewing. So I knew I was going to ace this job and I needed it. So the next day, right, I'm checking my phone, looking through my emails, looking for a job offer, but I get an email that asks me to go and interview for a job in Washington, D.C. And when I read through the job description, it had nothing to do with this department store. It was just a different job offer. And the job was to work in Washington, D.C. And I was living in Tennessee at the time. It
Mhm.
said you needed to have passed a background check, a top secret background check by the FBI. Your whole family had to pass a health background check. And
Mhm.
then On top of that, I started reading through. You had to have a master's in accounting. Mm,
Mm.
Look at
mm.
God. Look at
Guess
God.
guess
Mm.
who just finished getting their master's in accounting?
Yes.
And on
Yes.
top of that, that job was to be a United States diplomat traveling the world, representing
Wow.
America, managing $1 million programs. And that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years. And I just
Wow.
retired. So, yes, I see, Miss Riddick, you're saying, like,
Wow.
no, you went to school for this. But that sacrifice happened earlier in our marriage where she gave me the time to sit and study on the weekends.
Right. But see,
Wow.
she was an integral part of that degree. So when you
Yeah.
walked across the
Yes.
stage, she walked across the stage too. And she didn't walk across that stage figuratively for you to be no store manager.
Exactly.
So that's why she was like,
Exactly.
we did not sacrifice. And I'm sure, and that she understood that you knew, as the head of the family, looking at that bank
Mhm.
account, that you know, you wanted to um, lead in that area, but she also
Yes.
knew that, like, she needed to let you know that I'm on the same page with you. We're gonna
Yeah.
make it through this,
And
and
I'm okay.
and I'm okay with it. Don't just take
Yeah.
anything. Don't
Yes,
just
and that's powerful in marriages. And I wanted the women that
Yes.
are listening, you got to think about what you're saying and pouring into your husbands because they're dual headed, right? They're trying to go out there and get that money, take care, make sure you have this nice cushion. And while he's waiting out there trying to apply for job after job after job after job, he's doing what he can do to provide for the family. And sometimes it takes longer than a month, takes longer than 2 months, take longer than 3 months. So if you
Mhm.
really, really believe in your husband, invest in him, give him time, the resources to fulfill his passion and dreams if it aligns with your family goals. Once again, I'm gonna say if it aligns with your family goals, because
Okay.
sometimes you got somebody who's trying to, I'm just gonna make up something, they trying to sell the $5 t-shirts, and it's like, look, the $5 t-shirt business is good, but that might just have to be a hobby right now until you can show that thing's gonna produce $10,000 in income a month, right? It's like there's certain steps you got to take.
So
so
how do
so
you
go ahead,
oh
Patty.
my God. I'm like, so how do you make that
Uh-oh.
difference? My man wants to open his car wash or open a t-shirt business, and I'm thinking that's not gonna sustain us. So
Or he wants to stop and go be a rapper. Let's move to California. Be
Oh,
right.
oh.
So how do you support something when you really don't support it? Like, no, this isn't gonna work without crashing his dreams and without providing him, like you say, that foundation and that support. And not nagging him like, you need to get a job. We need to pay these bills. I don't know what this little thing is over here that you're doing, but it's not working. How do you,
So
how do
here's
you,
what my wife did. My wife, she encouraged me, even though she might not have that energy and passion. Like, this is your vision, this is what you believe in. You got 2 years. You got two
okay,
years. You see, you
okay,
got a timeline, and the
okay,
clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. And then after those 2 years, you had a conversation. You look at what progress was made. Were you almost there? How close were you to that dream? And then you, as the male, you got to realize that it's harder than what you think. You might have to go back and get that full-time job and
okay.
build it up part-time.
So the key is
Mhm.
to set a time limit. Okay.
Yes. Set a
Yeah, and keep
time
that.
limit.
It sounds like keep that communication open to if you guys
Hmm.
have to pivot or anything like that. So I like that.
Right. Because he's thinking, say hypothetically, he sees those Amazon packages hitting the doorstep, right? And he's thinking,
Yeah.
wait a minute, that's $50, $30, $20, $30, $80 for the month. That's $500 on the doorstep. So what if he spent $20 on books and $30 on cleaning supplies and $20 on new curtains and $50 on some new pillowcases, but instead he said, you know what? I'm gonna spend it on stuff I enjoy.
Mhm.
Books,
Hmm.
music lessons,
Hmm.
producing,
Hmm.
uh, websites. It adds up to the same amount. That same $500 is still being spent. So that's what he's thinking. Like, or I
Okay.
can just start placing some Amazon orders too. We can.
If that's what we're doing, we can both do that, huh?
Right. You see, I think sometimes, the women see it differently. Those packages hit that doorstep, and the male's looking like that's the equivalent to my thing over here.
So you bring up a good point then that couples must communicate and agree. Um, what it sounds like you're saying and being aligned on those goals, because we
Yes.
can make a decision, yes, to buy. I can make a decision to buy curtains today, or like you said, it could be something else that would put us closer to our in line with our goals.
Yes.
Um, so is that what you're saying? Is it to visit those goals and make sure that you're in alignment with the where your end goal really is?
Yes. And you always got to make sure that everything is aligned towards your end goal, especially in the beginning of a marriage. And I don't know when we're going to talk about like finances, money, and etc. But
Mhm.
even for me, I just retired from my main job, and I want to be a coach and a speaker. I want to speak to married couples at workshops, local churches, go to business talking about personal finance to teach workshops because I really believe in it.
Mhm.
And then from being a U.S. diplomat, a lot of people come to me for leadership coaching. So
Mhm.
I provide advice. Somebody just sent me a message yesterday because I helped them pass 2 different interviews, and now they're on their third interview, and they want me to help them.
Okay.
And so you I think I got lost my own answering. What was the question again? Sorry.
It was
It's okay.
about being in alignment and
Being in
having that.
alignment. Okay.
Mhm.
So
With that end goal.
the
You were telling
thing,
us about that end goal.
yes. So the
Mhm.
end goal, the point is that I just retired, which means I have some base income coming in to
Mhm.
support my new vision, my new goals,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
We have life insurance, we have health insurance. So it gives us more flexibility, or gives
Okay.
me, put it like that, because I'm the entrepreneur in the house. So it give us more flexibility in our finances. However, I didn't do that year 1 and year 2 in our marriage. That's the
Mhm.
point. Year 1, year 2, I was doing that 9 to 5 to
Mhm.
build the 401k, build the IRA, build up the
Mhm.
funding and the stability and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
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 Okay, well, I'm glad you brought up the financial piece. Um, so what advice do you have for couples when they're getting started to talk about their finances?
Oh, they need to do it from day one. From day one, before they get married, they need to talk about personal finances. And I'll plug my book because it's called Build Generational Wealth, Retire Early. And it talks about 2 couples that are dating. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Marcus and Latoya.
Mhm.
Marcus asked Latoya out on a date. They get married, and Marcus's uncle gives him a personal finance book. And because they read that book and the lessons from that, they were able to have a strong financial foundation. And for married couples, young couples, you got to be on the same page, because life insurance is something that's going to hurt you later on. Because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I have life insurance. I have life insurance where? Oh, through my employer." Okay, when
Mhm.
your employer lays you off, do you still have life insurance? You
Mhm.
don't.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
think about that. So you need to go ahead and get life insurance while you're young, and then
Mhm.
understand, are you going to get term life insurance or whole life?
Whole life.
Because
Mhm.
a lot of people, some people, you buy term and you invest the difference. You go with the whole life, it's different, because whole life, you might be spending, instead of spending $50 a month on a $500,000 term life policy, with whole life, you're spending $500 a month for that $500,000 policy. And
Mhm.
so to ride you out. And the difference is that there's multiple nuances there, but it's like, what type of life insurance do you want to have if something happens to your spouse? Do you just want to, your spouse passes away and now you get the 500,000, or you do the term for $50 a month, your spouse passes away, but you invested the difference. So you got the $500,000 life insurance policy, and you got the 200,000 in your 401k or IRA account, in your IRA account as
Mhm.
well, which gives you flexibility. So that's a conversation that married couples need to think about. And then they need to also think about, are they financing the cars or are they paying cash? Something we did was, we had a 3-year rule. We would finance the car, but it had to be paid off in 3 years.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
It had to be paid off in 3 years. And so that gives you the flexibility, because if one of y'all get laid off, you can quickly sell that car for more than what it's worth.
Okay.
But if you're doing the 5 year, 6, 7 year, you
Yeah.
upside down.
Yes.
Yeah. The first
So you
time I
got
heard that people were financing their cars for 7 years, you could get a 7-year thing now. I thought it was wonderful when they cuz I'm gonna tell my age, but back when I got my car, I think they had just moved it to where you could get it for 4 years, but I
3,
had my
4.
car for 3. That was
mm,
the standard, I guess at the time, most popular. You could have
Mm-hmm.
it financed for 3 years.
3.
Then they
Mm-hmm.
moved up to 4, then they moved up to 5, and then I heard somebody say you could get 7 years. I wish
Yeah.
I
mhm.
would. I wish I would do something for 7 years.
And longer, because I think with the financing, it's like they look at how much can you afford to pay per month. Because years ago, when I went to purchase a car, the salesperson was like, well, how much do you want your monthly payments to be? I'm like, well, it depends on what interest rate I qualify for. But
Mhm.
they sell, can you afford $400 a month? I'm like, no. And we just went back and forth, and I did not buy that car from him, because I'm like, this is not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
And I have a
You know, if I'm
story
paying
for you
four
on
hundred
that.
dollars a month and my interest rate is 15%, that's no good.
Yeah. And you only paying
Exactly.
$50 on the car, on the principal.
hmm
Most
hmm
of it's the interest.
And
You say you got a
you have to
story?
shop. Yes, you have to shop the rate. So we bought a vehicle. We let them show us what rate they had. They came back with a rate that was high. So we said, okay, no problem. We picked up the phone, called the credit union, and got a rate that was like
Mm-hmm.
2% lower.
Mm-hmm.
2% lower than
It's a
what they
big
were
thing.
trying to offer. And
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden, they come back with a lower interest rate. All of a sudden.
All of a
So
sudden.
what people
All of a
need to
sudden.
realize, these companies make more off the interest rate than the car.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
know. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, good.
When you were saying about the foundation, I know early on, and finances have been, I won't say a point of contention, but just a big issue throughout our marriage. And early on, you know, my husband, he broke it down. It's like, is this a need or is this a want? You don't understand the two.
Hmm
And honestly, looking back, I did not. You know, I'm like, no, I need these curtains. He
Yeah.
was like, no, there are already curtains at the window, but you just don't like them.
Yeah.
That's not a need.
Yes.
I honestly could not. It was very hard to I'm buying it, I want it, you know, I'm financing it. And it was really like, you know, and I got to the point, you know, after you buy your first house, man, they give you credit cards like crazy.
Hmm
Yep.
So we bought our first house. My husband, I was 20, like 22, bought our first house. No one would give me a credit card at 19. Bought that first house. I had so many credit cards. It was ridiculous, because you go in the store, oh, we're going to give you 20% off your first purchase if you buy that card and you pay it
Yes.
off. Of course, I never paid it off. My debt with the kids. Oh, the kids need this. We would have a budget for Christmas. This is our budget for Christmas. I was double that. And he's like, where is this money coming from?
Mm.
It was, I mean, literally throughout, probably until I was maybe about 40. So maybe after 20 years, it was just like, and he was like, you have to do this. I'm not going to do this for you, because if something
Okay.
happens to me, you need to know how to manage this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Powerful. Powerful.
That's
So that
good.
has, I love this topic, and a lot of couples need to hear this, especially all couples, but especially young couples, because you don't know. You want to look good. You want your kids to look good. You know,
Yes.
I want this kind of car. Let's go out to eat. And that money, when you spend in plastic. And it got to the point, he was like, look, I don't care if it's free, don't take it.
Exactly.
Because you're
Don't take
coming,
it.
you know, you're double couponing. Back in the day when you double couponing at the grocery store, he was like, we don't even eat this. You just bought it because it was a coupon.
Yes. Yes.
He was
Yes,
like, this is
indeed.
ridiculous. And it got to the point, he said, you go to Walmart to get laundry detergent, this and that, and you spend $300.
Hmm
He said, just take the $60 in the Walmart. Just take the $60. Don't take a credit card, a debit card, a checkbook. Don't.
Mhm.
Because then you end up, where's this money coming from? Like, you don't understand. It was like really for years. And I'm
Pata.
not where I need to be, but I'm a long way from where I used to be. But him, we're
Okay.
totally opposite on that. No, this is how we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I would
This
say
is
that is so common, Pata. And
this
and
is
and Michael, I'm sure you've seen it too. The Lord usually put opposites together, and that will be the contention. So I'm the saver in the family. My husband is the spender. And I remember early on when we got married, Pata, and Michael, to your point, uh, early on people should have a conversation about um, how to handle money and how they're going to move forward with it. We did not have those conversations. We started mingled. We just married and mingled and stuff and put our stuff together. And I remember I had good credit because when we were trying to get approved for our mortgage for a home loan, um, they was at the first home we had. It was like your husband can't be on it
Mm.
because his credit is
Wow.
bad, but my
Mm.
credit was good. And my husband's mother did not like that. She was like, because if because if you don't
I
do right,
bet.
she gonna put you out.
Yep.
But
Yep.
anyway, so we had to go through some creative financing to our forced mortgage. But this is my point. As I had a credit card and we had a cash flow problem at first, because you buy a house and stuff
Need the
start breaking
washing
down and
machine. Yep.
stuff. Yeah, you don't have the savings, the emergency fund that you really should have going into that, and we didn't know, and nobody had those conversations with us. My mother did about savings, so because she was a big saver, and that's where I learned my savings from. But I gave my husband this credit card, and I said, "Hey, this is for emergencies. Just put it in your wallet. This is only for emergencies."
Mm-hmm.
The problem was though is we didn't define what an emergency was.
Okay.
He
Mm.
bought 4 new tires for the truck and lights for the he is a farm and lights for the farm. It wasn't that
Okay.
big of a limit on that card. I wanna say maybe $500 or something like that. But the majority of
Yep.
that, tires for the truck are not cheap.
Not
They're
at
not cheap
all.
now. You bought all 4 of them at one time. Couldn't you just get
Oh yeah.
2? And, so
Tell me
that
about
was
it.
Because he wanted them. He wanted those.
and so but in my mind, emergency. I said this is for emergencies. But we
Something
should
break
have had a
down or something.
yes, a true emergency. In his mind, emergency meant, oh, I need tires for the truck. I gotta go to the farm every day. If I break down or something like that, I got no.
I mean, but like you said, you have to have those conversations even before marriage,
You
because
You
should.
have to
even
have them
like
before.
when I start working, I felt like the money I made was my money, and he took care of everything else. Seriously, and he was
What?
like, "Well, wait a minute. How is your money, and my money is our money? It's no, it's we're together on this. We're together.
Yeah.
There's no, He was like, we need to have one account, and then we agree for this, and then that's for that. And I was just like, I want to spend my money how I want to spend what. And he was just like, no, no, no. If you're
Yeah.
out of the house working, it's a pot. If you're staying at home taking care of the kids, then we'll, but you can't work outside of the house and do whatever you want to do with your money and a little bit
Right.
over
Right.
here
They
and all
say
this
put
over
it
here.
all on him.
Literally, I
Yep.
was I was all over the place. I'm thanks glory to God we're still together, honestly.
Hey, wow.
I don't
Glory
know
to
why he
God
didn't just
indeed.
got rid of, like, I can't, this woman is no.
She
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
Mm.
no,
Wow. I can see you reflecting back now.
yeah. And it was so funny. Last night we were looking at all these pictures, and when the kids were growing up, you buy all these school pictures. So I
Yeah.
always bought the biggest package with all the pictures.
Ooh.
And he used
And
to
you didn't
say,
even give them out, did you?
no, we were looking at pictures last night of our kids, and he was like, "You need to get these to your kids. Look at all these pictures we got."
Wow.
And our kids, our youngest is 28. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just like, no, I have to get the big package, and it was just a mindset because I didn't grow up with the savings background. My mother was a spender and a shopper.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. It's
Those
important
backgrounds are
indeed.
so important. So, Michael, let me ask you this: you've heard our stories here, that our struggles with our spouse, and I'm sure you've had your own struggles too, because you talked about y'all's cultural difference, her not even using credit where
Yeah.
she's
Yep.
from. So, but if you had one message to couples who are struggling financially right now, what would it be?
The one thing I would say is you need a financial coach. The reason why you need a financial coach
Mm.
is there's so much information, and there's so much that you don't know that you don't know.
Mm.
You don't know what you don't know. You don't know that what 20 years from now, 30 years from now, how much money do you need to retire?
Mhm.
You don't know how much it takes to be able to afford to make the monthly payments on your house when you're old. You don't know what type of cars you're going to want to have when you're not working anymore. So,
Mhm.
this is why you need to work with a financial coach to help you map out your future, to be able
Mhm.
to show you what your future is going to look like, to also to have both people understand that this person likes having fun. They enjoy traveling. They enjoy experiences. But the other couple wants things. They want the new curtains. They want the new washing machine, the new couch, the new car. They like the things. The other couple, the other spouse, they want to go travel to Europe. They want to travel to the conferences. They want to travel, travel, travel. So you have two different ways that you enjoy using your money. The other person is not wrong for what they believe in. So now the
Mhm.
conversation is, how can we mitigate and split the difference so that both people feel respected? And this is why I feel like you need a financial coach in the beginning. You need to have it. So because somebody's going to ask you those tough questions.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's just it. A lot of times we don't want to talk about the tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we don't, and then it snowballs into a much bigger problem.
Yes.
Mhm. You bring up a really good point, because thinking back, like I've always been like I have a degree in accounting too. And even from a kid, I was always the person that would kind of write down stuff and keep account of my money and stuff like that. And so when we got married, I remember the first time I heard about being able to pay off your mortgage early. I had gone to my my church had family vacation Bible school, and there was a guy named Larry Burkett that came and talked to us about how many references. I think he said it's over 200 references to money that's in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got on fire for it, and I just went out and I started reading and researching amortization and all of that. See, I just nerded out with all of that stuff, but I didn't take my husband with me on that journey mentally. I just
Mhm.
got excited, started doing all the reading and research. I set up this budget. I said, "Oh, baby," I presented it to him. Look, we can pay off all of our unsecured debt in 2 years, and then in the 5 years, then we would pay off our car, and then in the next few years, then we would pay off our mortgage. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I had it all down on paper, and I thought, oh, he'll just be so excited about this. He wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
because you
Mm-hmm.
made the point is that what he wanted to do with his money was not with a long-term goal of paying off the house. He didn't see. I
Right.
needed to have the conversation really looking back where I could make this attractive to
Mm-hmm.
him and what his desire and what he
Mhm.
found favorable to do with his money. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It
Yes.
makes sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense. And that's why I develop an app that allows couples to kind of see the future based upon the decisions they make today, how it
Wow.
impacts their future,
Wow.
how it impact you buy the Mercedes today, how it impacts your future retirement fund, how
Mhm.
you decide to go on that vacation today. Okay, $20 here, $100. Okay, now you're chipping away from your financial freedom goal, and it shows
Mhm.
you how it's going to impact you in the future.
Wow.
Well, so does it, okay, because I've when I'm talking to couples about budgeting,
Mm-hmm.
and the pushback is usually from one, the spender. They don't like that it's restrictive. They feel like
Mhm.
it's restrictive. It's going to hold them in this box.
Mhm.
And I explained to him, no, it's really going to free you up, because if you want to save for a vacation, make it a line item. Put it
Yes.
on there. You just have to put what it is that's important in the budget. But if you don't, my mom used to tell me this, if you don't tell your money where to go, it'll go so fast you think somebody stole it.
Yes, it will. That thing will run
Yes.
away like loose
It'll
Yes.
water.
it go through your fingers just like water. So you got to tell your money where to go. And the Lord gave us the resources in order to be able to live life to the full, but he also wants us to be able to do some other things, to you might want to help a loved one. You might want to give to a charity. You may want to set your kids up. The Bible says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we got to think about all of those things when preparing for that. So, Michael, I want to look at the time and stay in control of the time and everything. But let's shift gears a little bit and talk about your leadership academy just for a little bit, and then Pat is going to come in after you talk about your leadership academy and ask you some questions.
Yeah, so basically, with the Leadership Academy, it's an opportunity for people to learn how to lead with impact. That means how to listen, how to empower, how to adapt and develop. And a lot of times I do a demonstration on empower, where I teach leaders how to realize that. They come to me and they say, Michael, I tried delegating responsibilities, I tried empowering certain job tasks to people on my team, and I end up having to do it myself. So I said, okay, get a piece of paper out and write down on one side skill and then write down will. Most of the time, the people that they empower, they're an 8 in will. But when it comes to skill, they're a 4. And I say, that's the problem. The problem is that the person's so motivated. Let me help you out. Let me help you out. Let me do it. Let me do it. But they haven't been properly trained from day one. The leader just put them out there behind the computer and say, go ahead, here's some work, get it done. The leader gave them to somebody else on the team to train them without following up. And the person said they trained them. So now this person is struggling. They don't know how to format the report in the way you want it. They don't know who to talk to within the organization to get the right information. They don't know what good looks like. As a result, their work is not up to standard. And now you as a leader, you're complaining. It's because you empowered the wrong people. You need to empower people who are a 7 and above in will and a 7 and above in skill. Now you can empower those people. Focus on developing the people who have low skill but high will, and then the ones that have high skill and low will, figure out what motivates them. Some people want to be recognized publicly. Some people want bonuses. Some people want more time off. Some people want to go and train others and be recognized as the expert. Find out what motivates them. So that's what I teach when I'm coaching people one-on-one. I did have the community, but then I started getting so busy that I just started just coaching people one-on-one for people who are looking to reset their leadership within 30 days. Or I go to organizations and I speak, like have 2 events, one event in March where I'm speaking at for a local membership group, and then I'm speaking in a conference in April. So my business model is changing as I start speaking at conferences to larger groups of people.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you bring up a valid point. I used to work for a federal agency. As a matter of fact, I retired from a federal agency, and the management there always felt like because we made a good salary, that's what motivated everybody. Everybody should be
Mm-hmm.
motivated by this good salary that you're getting. And
Mm-hmm.
there were people who were, it's like, yeah, we working for the money. The paycheck's important, but like you just said, some people want to be recognized. An attaboy would be good. And just like for me, just show me some appreciation. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm here for the check, and I'm giving you. If I did just the minimum of what's required for the job, I've satisfied what's needed for the check. But the fact that I go over and above,
Right.
um,
Just want to be acknowledged.
yeah, I just want you to be acknowledged and say let me know you appreciate it for some type of way. It don't have to be nothing elaborate or nothing like that, but let people know that they're appreciated. And if I feel if but above all things, don't make me feel I'm not appreciated. because
Mm-hmm.
because that would be the thing is that you start doing some things that you're doing some nitpicky things, and like, oh, okay, this communicates the unappreciativeness to me. So, okay, I can cut back on some of these things. I can show you better than I can tell you.
Right.
So, then I would just, oh, okay, then if you don't care nothing about that part, then I don't care nothing about it. Well, Lucille, I thought you normally do such and such. Well, it didn't seem like it mattered to you. So I just, So we get, so I love that you're helping leaders be better
Yes.
leaders in that regard, because that is so important in the workplace, because they talked about, what is it, quiet quitting, people that
Yes.
still
Yes.
Yep.
people that are still showing up, but they just giving you the minimum.
Just that
Uh,
Definitely.
back, that's all.
yeah, until they find something better. So that is definitely important. But I'm gonna let Pata go ahead and jump in here with her questions.
All right, just a few things. Michael, you shared that you and your wife exercise together. How does moving together strengthen your emotional connection?
Because now you're together one on one. You're not working. You're not behind a computer. You're not, working. So now you're together, and now you're talking freely and openly, no filter. So you're talking about what's going on for today, but most importantly, you're talking about the future. Me and my wife would always talk about the future. What do we want our life to look like 3 years from now? What is that? What does success look like? Before I retired, I started talking about, I'm tired of traveling around the world. I want our kids to be able to enjoy America. I want them to pick up the American culture.
Mm-hmm.
We kept talking about it and talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want to write a book. I want to share my experiences, how I went from being unemployed on a Friday, a U.S. diplomat on a Monday. I want to share information with couples on how to build wealth using basic principles. And we will be on. Go ahead.
I was saying, so it's great that you're just using that time. You're not only strengthening your bodies, but it's just a time for you just guys to lay everything out and just kind of chill, enjoy each other's company, communicate, and enjoy each other's thoughts. It's nothing formal. It just flows as it comes. And wow, that's deep. More couples to take advantage of that.
We'd be walking, like say we're walking through the neighborhood, we see houses, and my wife will be like, you know what, we should buy an investment property. Now, I'm the numbers person. I like compound interest. I know about the rule of 72. And I'm like, I ran the numbers, and I feel like the stock is better because you get index fund 9% rate of return.
Right.
Your money's going to double every 8 years. With the house, the money's coming mainly from appreciation and the fact that you put down a down payment. And that's where the money's coming from. It's the money's coming from that. So if you put down 20% down and inflation is 3%, okay, then it's going to multiply and make it a 15% rate of return. But then you got to deal with the phone calls. You got to deal with the tenant didn't pay for 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? The market goes up and down. You got to fix stuff, right? And you can't get your money until you sell it. Unless you take out loans and all this type of stuff. So there's more nuance to it versus put that money in your IRA, let that thing build up. You put it if you have some of it in a Roth and you got 100,000 in there and you put in 20 before growth, you can take the 20,000 out and buy stuff and not be taxed, if you had the account open for longer than 5 years or some certain rules. But that's my mindset. But so we always go back and forth. Like, no, because in Zambia, they buy property. They don't do the stock market because property, I can see it. It's physical. I own that thing. It's right there. But when you own an index fund like the S&P 500, people don't put two and two. You own Walmart. You own Bank of America. You own Walgreens. You own 500. You own Amazon. You own Tesla. You own 500 companies. You are a shareholder.
Right.
But we're not taught that.
Exactly.
We're not taught that we are actually owners. So it doesn't feel like we're an owner. And so it just feels like there's some magic number sitting somewhere.
Oh, right. So from your perspective, why are emotional and physical health essential to a strong marriage?
It's very important. Physical, especially in the beginning, because if you spend time building your body up and eating the right foods, working out, it's going to help you when you get older, because we start to, as humans, we start to deteriorate. We start to get weak. So you need that strong core in the beginning to be able to sustain some of the injuries that you're going to face. For example, when you're 20 years old and you trip, you just keep it moving.
Get back up.
When you're 45 and you trip, And then 2 days later, you're like, oh, you saw her getting out of bed. You're like, what happened?
And
And then
then
you remember.
when you're 60, you might not get up, right? You're gonna need somebody to help you up. So
Yes, yes, yes. And so we believe in strengthening, taking care of our bodies physically. And then mentally, that comes from making sure that you watch the right programming because, garbage in, garbage out. You want to make sure that you are strengthening your mental capacity, which is why you want to continue to do those walks with each other. You want to be able to go to church together. You want to be able to talk about what good looks like.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what's oh, here she's coming back in. Let's,
um,
we lost you for a
I was
minute.
right in the middle of conversation. I was like, no, internet connection. But thanks for your response, Michael. I have
Yes,
one
yes.
last question, unless Lucille, did you ask that one already?
No,
Or
I did not.
all right, one last question for you,
Okay.
Michael. What is one wellness habit couples can start that supports their health and their finances?
Having conversations on Sunday, right? Pick a day, Sunday, 2 p.m. Or if you have kids, maybe Sunday, 8 p.m., right? When the kids are upstairs. Every week on Sunday, sit down and discuss how the money went for the week and discuss the money for the future for like next week. Just like be present with your money. And here's a challenge I have for couples. Go was multiple. I like to give homework. So when I'm coaching people, I will give you homework. So for married couples, go and pull your 401k statements. If you work, you have an employer, you have a 401k.
Oh, not
Go.
the paperwork. No.
Yes, the paperwork or digital. Log into your account and take a look at that number. And then look at what you're invested in. Because this is what I teach couples all the time. Some of y'all are like trying to go 500 miles, okay? Now, question for you. You're going to go 500 miles. How long is it going to take you to go 500 miles if you're on a bicycle?
A long time. Very long time.
Okay. You get in the car. How long do you think it'll take you to go 500 miles?
I don't know. It's definitely shorter than the bicycle.
3 or 4 hours, maybe.
Okay. Now, imagine getting in a plane. How fast will you get there?
Hour, I'm there.
Oh, all right. So when it comes to investing for your financial future, different investments are the same thing. A bond is like having a bicycle. A bond grows at 3% interest. Okay. Now, what's the equivalent of an airplane? That's the index fund, like the S&P 500, that gives you a 9% rate of return. So you say, Michael, 3%, now it's only a 6% difference. It's a big difference. If you have $10,000 and you invested in bond, it's going to take 24 years for the $10,000 to become $20,000.
Okay.
Now you say, what if I put it in the index fund? Glad you asked. That 10,000 will double in only 8 years. 10,000 becomes 20,000 in only 8 years. And if you're doing the math, so in 8 years, 10 becomes 20. Wait another year, 20 becomes 40. And then wait another 8 years, 40 becomes $80,000. Same time period, same 24 years. One person ends up with 20,000. Another couple has 80,000. What's the difference? Financial education.
Gotcha. And the earlier you start this in your marriage, the more, because you have time.
Yes. You
That's
have
it.
time.
The time is so important.
Which sometimes can be difficult because you got with the responsibilities of kids, of daycare, of all of that. What's one like quick word that you could give our listeners? Like, how do I invest? How do I save? I have to pay my rent. I have to pay my mortgage. I got car payments. I got insurance. I got daycare. I can barely have enough to save. So how do you change that mindset? Because it's like you said, it's a mindset,
Yes. So I have two answers. One is that start with what you got. If you only got $5, start with the $5. In my book, it teaches you, in my program, I believe in taking that $5 you got, make sure you're investing in your 401k because you're getting 100% return on your money. Most employers are either matching 100% or 50%. Where else can you go and put $100 in a basket and then pull out $150?
Okay.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
An extra free $50. Where else can you go? You can't go nowhere. So start there with what you got.
Start what you got. Okay.
Start with what you got.
Okay.
And then I always keep want to pound and pound. You have to design your financial future. You have to design to understand that, okay, you have no money. No, you have money. You're choosing to enjoy certain things today at the expense of your future. So instead
Mm-hmm.
of working, so basically you're saying you want to retire when you're 85. Oh, no, you don't want to retire when you're 85? Then what are you doing today that's going to prevent that from happening? Because otherwise, that's what you're doing. Your money habit shows that you want to retire at age 85 because you need that new car, you need the best daycare, you need the new clothes, you need the certain food, you need all these things. You need the cable, you need the Amazon subscription, you need
Michael,
the
I'm
Apple
finna write
Music subscription,
I'm
right?
finna write this down. That's the question right there that I feel like would get everybody's attention. Is, oh, so
Hmm.
you saying you want to retire at 85? Because that
Yeah, that's what's
actually
happening.
puts a number and a picture in my head, and it'd be
Right. I don't
like,
want to be doing this
oh,
on the train going to work. And how can I do this when I'm 85?
but that's exactly what we're saying though. If
That's what
we
we're
keep
doing.
spending like we spending,
What we're doing. And I used to think retirement was so far away. Oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm gonna do this. And I tell my kids today, I'm like, now I'm getting to retirement age. And it used to seem so far away. So what you don't know, you teach. So I'm like, soon as they got their job, I'm like, max out your 401k plan. Because time waits for nobody.
nobody. Time
So
waits for nobody.
And on top
yeah.
of that, my daughter, when she started working at age 17, I made her open up a Roth IRA account, a child Roth IRA account,
Okay.
and put money into it. So guess what's going to happen when she gets age 30? She's going to be like, wow, I'm so happy my dad made me put my money in there. It's an
Yes.
automatic habit, something that she has to do. So
Right.
you know what? When she's 40 years old, she should have at least $500,000 in her 401k IRA, at least $500,000 sitting there. So now her life choices are going to be different.
Different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Got
Hmm.
you.
And to your point, Pata, when you were talking about the health part about it, is if you've got that type of freedom, you can make the decisions on so many things in your life. Say you have a physical job and
Mm-hmm.
you no longer want to do that physical
Mm-hmm.
job or whatever because
Mm-hmm.
it's breaking your body down.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You can say no to that. Whereas opposed to if you have to work,
Right.
you
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 don't
may
have any
not
options. You just don't have
you don't
any
have any
options.
options because I had a physical job at one
Mm-hmm.
time when I worked for the postal service, and thank the Lord I'm not broke down about it. But there are a lot of people who got broke down because we were moving heavy equipment, heavy
Mm-hmm.
mail,
Mm-hmm.
that type of
Mhm.
thing. But I needed the income, so I couldn't say no. But if I had had the room and the budget, because I wanted to go back to school early on, and I wasn't able to do that because
Mm-hmm.
we had gotten a house and we had gotten a
Mm-hmm.
car. We had two car notes, all early on in the marriage. If
Right.
we'd had
Mhm.
somebody to talk to, possibly like
Exactly. A coach.
like
Yes.
to what you said, a coach, or even a concerned parent that or a relative that knows or that we would be willing to listen to, even a concerned friend that we would listen to could have said, hey, you know consider this instead of that,
Yes, yeah. Also,
and
be careful. I had to put a caveat. You got to be careful who you get advice from
yes.
because some people make money by selling you stuff. Now, you might say, well, Michael, you make money when you coach people. True, but I'm providing education
Mm-hmm.
to allow
Hmm.
you to make choices on your own. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not selling you a product. I'm selling you knowledge. I'm teaching
Right.
Yes.
you to
How to.
be able to do it yourself. That's the old saying,
Yep.
when you go out there and you feed somebody, you can feed them for a day, right?
Right.
Hmm.
But if you teach them how to fish, they can eat for a lifetime.
They
And
can.
that's what I teach my kids. I teach my kids how to invest so that they can retire early whenever they want to.
Oh, I
Right.
love that. I love
Right.
that. All right.
All right.
Patta, did you
Great
want to do
conversation.
your wellness minute now or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right, listeners. This is my wellness minute. Financial stress lives in the body before it ever shows up in the budget. If money conversations feel tense, take 3 slow breaths before you talk. A regulated body leads to a regulated conversation, and peace follows clarity.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
So, Michael, this is my last question. I usually end with all my listeners. I call this like a heart to heart moment.
Okay.
If a couple wanted to start a meaningful conversation tonight about money, what is one question they should ask each other?
That question should be, at what age do you want to stop working?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's gonna be my that I'm telling you, I wrote it down.
I wrote it down too. I wrote it down
I
too.
wrote it down because that's the one right there.
Yeah,
Just say you want to retire at 85.
Mm-hmm.
right,
That's
right,
gonna get the question.
right.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
Michael, thank you for reminding us that financial unity isn't just about numbers. It's about communication, your shared vision, and caring for one another holistically. When couples align their goals, support each other's dreams, and even move their bodies together, they strengthen more than just their bank account. They strengthen their bond. So, really appreciate your conversation today and all of the knowledge and the nuggets that you're dropping to our listeners.
absolutely. Um, Tell us where I'm sure you're gonna give me a link to your book and maybe to some of your products and stuff, but are you on social media? Tell our listeners where they can look you up.
Yes, I'm in several places in social media, depending on what type of information you want. I retired as a U.S. diplomat, so leading at a high level. So if you're HR director, CEO, you can go to my LinkedIn, Michael Dillard Group, and you can see articles that I write on LinkedIn. If you're looking to connect with me one on one for either your taxes, one on one personal finance coaching, and etc., then you would go to michaeldillard.org. That's where the resource part of my business is located. And if you want proof that I can perform on stage, I can produce workshops, then you can go to Michael Dillard Speaks. Michael Dillard Speaks because I do speak. I do provide powerful messages when I'm in the room with people.
Oh, I love that. I
Nice,
love that. Well,
nice.
thank you, Michael, for your wisdom, your leadership, and your practical insight. And to our listeners, remember this: financial peace doesn't happen by accident. It happens when couples choose unity over secrecy, planning over pressure, and partnership over pride. Thank you for joining us on the Stronger, Deeper Marriage Show. Until next time, keep building a stronger and deeper marriage. Until
Bye.
next time, see you
Until next
later.
time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me end this and